Hi, welcome to my podcast. This is Debra Danielsen, Debra D, and I really appreciate you tuning in today. I have a special edition on location podcast this week. Many of you had sent me messages, DMs, and all kinds of other little messages here and there. Why don't you have your husband on? We'd like to hear a little bit more from him. So today, I'm going to include you in a wonderful experience that we just had. It's called the Somewhere in Time Weekend, filmed on Mackinac Island. It's in Michigan, right on a beautiful lake. And the Somewhere in Time Weekend, in case you have not heard about it, is an event where we were all surprised because JaneSeymour actually made an appearance and came to the entire event this weekend. So I'm going to share with you the interview that was done with her, a little bit of surprises along the way, and I'll show you a little bit about our journey with the hotel, the food, and all of the fabulous costumes. It's interesting because when this movie was made back in 1979, there was a lot going on in the world. Well, first of all, Christopher Reeves was still alive. Amazing, handsome man. The very first time I saw him, I couldn't even believe he was real. I thought the man had skin like porcelain and he looked like a doll. I didn't even think he was real. I thought he was fake, but he was real. And unfortunately, he passed away. He became a quadriplegic from a horse accident. So that was horrible. At any rate, JaneSeymour and Christopher Reeves starred in a movie called Somewhere in Time. When the movie was released, 1980, I believe, there was no advertising. It was actually bad-mouthed by the critics as being the worst movie of all time. Christopher Reeves had just completed a blockbuster appearance in Superman. He was red hot. He was Hollywood royalty. And JaneSeymour was also a very sought-after actress. However, because there was a writer's strike and all kinds of strife going on and upheaval in Hollywood over different things, I believe there's also an actor's strike too. So anyway, there was a whole turmoil going on in Hollywood. The movie didn't get publicized, it didn't get pushed or promoted properly, and it just sort of almost didn't exist until HBO decided to include Somewhere in Time in its roster for streaming. After a bit, it became very, very evident that the streaming became more and more prevalent. So the movie is now one of the best-selling movies of all time. It has set records, in the secondary market, because obviously it's not at the theaters. But you could not believe the amount of people that was at the Grand Hotel this weekend. I would guess right around 1,000 people came for the Somewhere in Time weekend. It was basically Thursday through Sunday evening, and there were interviews with not only JaneSeymour and opportunity to meet her, but there was also opportunity to support her Open Hearts Foundation, where she gives back to people who've been through very challenging times. If you love JaneSeymour, you can go to her Open Hearts Foundation website. You can make contributions. All of her merchandise, she has Open Hearts Foundation scarves. She just announced her new line of clothing and hats at the event this weekend. You can literally take these straw hats, fold them, crumple them, sit on them, stand on them, kick them, and they go right back into shape. So they're amazing. You can travel with them. You'll notice as you look at the podcast, and I encourage you not only to listen to the podcast, but definitely go and watch it. I have done voiceovers, but everything pretty much is video with voiceover, and I do have titles on certain pages and certain video clips so that you can actually take the journey yourself without being there. So there were a couple of cocktail receptions. There were also a silent auction where this very scary puppet of Elsie McKenna, who was JaneSeymour's character in the movie. This was valued at $15,000. You'll see it in the video. You'll also see the Danish artist who made this puppet or doll, whatever you want to call it, but it looks like a puppet to me. Anyway, to me, when I first saw this doll, I thought, oh my God, that is horrifying. It just looked like something out of one of those Chucky movies. Like it was gonna get you in the dark. Anyway, but I will tell you, the guy worked his butt off on it. It was valued at $15,000, but it actually went on the silent auction for $2,500. So thank you, Mr. Werner, for, donating that. I thought it was really nice. I got a silent auction item, David and I did, and what I thought was amazing, there's an artist out there who's a big fan of JaneSeymour, and he is a retired cop from New York. And he gets big slabs of wood from the Ukraine, burled hunks of live edge wood. And he takes this wood and he puts resin in it, puts some color in it, and then he gets antique frames, and then he matches things on this resin that have an important part in the movie. So there's a copper penny there that says 1979. There is a room key of the room in the hotel, room 117. So just for fun, we went looking around to see, is there really a room 117? And I said to my husband, oh my gosh, if there's a room 117, I bet that's very hard to get. And they must charge a hell of a price for that, that room. And so we made the trek, the long trek over there, and found out there is no more room 117. There's a suite that's 118 and 119. And then there's a conspicuous white door that has no number. So the maid told us that it had all been absorbed in this suite, which is now 118 and 119. So there you have it. Then there's a picture on our piece of art that's coming. We still don't have it. We just got back home. So there's antique photographs, frames, and metal pictures shot from the movie put onto this. So we can't wait to have it, and it says Somewhere in Time on it, and hang it up and have it as a special memory. So I hope that if you are a JaneSeymour fan and you've known her from many other shows or different venues, and you have not seen the movie Somewhere in Time, and you're a hopeless romantic and you love a good story and maybe want to time travel, I would tell you, take a movie night and celebrate that. If you're also a JaneSeymour fan, you can go to her website from her fan club, which is headed up by Joe Addy, who I met. Joe Addy was an extra in the movie. There was also a gaffer there. A gaffer is a person who does lighting. And so there was also that person there to meet and greet and talk to. And I was just thrilled to meet and talk to people and learn some behind the scenes information. So we're going to share that today. We're going to share our trip. And this was to commemorate my happy birthday. So October's my happy birthday month. And if you're in October, if you're a Libra, or if you just want to celebrate, hey, join in on the fun and get yourself some sparkling wine or champagne. They serve the champagne at every one of the cocktail receptions. So if you want to join in and get the full vibe, but you don't have the money to go there, get yourself a little bubbly, pop in my podcast, and away we go. So I'm going to now turn it over to our travel log. And if you have any questions, if you like this format, let me know. I plan on doing a couple of more on-location shoots this year for my podcast, and I hope it just brings it more to life. Thanks for watching Rebel Podcast, Somewhere in Time Travel. Here is my Somewhere in Time movie poster, autographed by JaneSeymour right there. And this was during our weekend Somewhere in Time event at the Grand Hotel in Mackinac Island. Christopher Reeves played the leading man, and JaneSeymour played Elsa McKenna, the leading woman. And it is a hopeless romantic tale, but it's so intoxicating that people came literally from all over the United States to participate. We're now on the road during our ferry trip to Mackinac Island, and you'll see the beautiful lighthouse there on the little island that was featured in the movie. It was part of a romantic forbidden rendezvous between Christopher Reeves and JaneSeymour. As we get closer to the port to pull in, David's on the back of the ferry and he's talking to one of the crew members. There you see one of the French cruise ships that have just started to come onto the island. We're pulling into the dock, and the only way to get to the hotel is by ferry, or excuse me, by taxi. And the taxis are all horses. This gentleman here makes his living by taking luggage from the port, from the ships, to the hotels. You'll see people riding bicycles, carrying luggage. You will see people dragging their luggage. We are on a quest to get a taxi and head up the hill to the Grand Hotel. That is very slick. Be careful. Topiary down there. Yeah. Clydesdale topiary. Well, we ought to have the theme song playing. Here's the driveway. Is Arthur gonna pop out and help us in? Welcome us. Remember Arthur? He's a roan. Look at this.
Now that you've said something, it looks very wrong.
Ooh, look at the fountain down there. Looks like an Italian garden.
That's where you get to go.
I finally made it to the Grand Hotel. David has brought me this for my birthday present, and we have talked about it for so long. I think he's shell-shocked. We had to ride a carriage, and we were right behind the horses, which smells really good in the rain. Anyway, thank God for modern conveniences. But it's the hotel's 135th anniversary, and we are here for our Somewhere in Time weekend. I can't wait to meet JaneSeymour. David outdid himself. We have the Jacqueline Kennedy suite, along with all the presidential carpeting, beautiful gold leaf bed, and all the trimmings of opulence. So excited. Oh, look at this bed. It even has its own little step-up stool. A gold leaf. The view is so pretty. And we have a baby grandfather clock. Look at how pretty that is. The pool. The fountain in the gardens. David, you did a good job. Obviously, David has a long-deserved beer coming, and so the Cupola Bar is where we're headed. It is phenomenal.
Ain't making no more until next season.
What is it now?
It's a bell.
As David struggles with the reality that he can't get his beer because they're out of it, there's this woman staring at us relentlessly in the background. Who the hell is it? Well, after those great refreshments at the Cupola Bar, we decided to take a little tour. Look at the Victorian drippings all over and find the Somewhere in Time gazebo, where a major shot of the scenes were taken care of there. And here's David along in the forest. We loved seeing the vintage cameras. We loved learning about Jane Seymour's being an artist, and these are some of her works hanging on the walls right outside of our room. I was so surprised. And here is Jane Seymour, Somewhere in Time weekend. We were so thrilled to see her, and everybody just loved listening to her greet us. This was prior to us watching the movie that night. It was moving and emotional, and then we got to the interview.
Might be wearing it. But Sherry Ingle, who is here somewhere, Sherry, turn around and take a bow. She is the one who designed all the costumes on Dr. Quinn, that did almost every movie I've ever done, has been nominated for best costuming and everything, and has been working with me with the art to wear that you've seen, and countless other things that I've done in the design world. And she is the one who figured out how to make this dress. And it's amazing. Every year she lets me borrow this special jewelry. Thank you, Jen. Oh, and Dee, oh my God, you cannot wear this dress without this particular hairstyle. And this is her Gibson Extraordinaire. I think this is the best one she's ever done. It's amazing, and it's actually comfortable. Did you see the back? Look at that. It's amazing. Dee, you're a genius. She's not there.
I know. I'll give her that.
Okay. All right. Oh, I'm doing this? Okay. I have one. All right, I'll be ready. We stand here in the sight of God and of all people to witness this union of man and wife, one flesh, one heart, one soul, now and forever. Now I have to wrap your hands together with a scarf, with an open heart scarf. Oh, I think you need to help me up there. Okay. Okay. Let it be known that Skip and Shannon are one heart, one flesh, one soul. Cursed be those who would seek to tear them asunder. In the sight of all here present, I hereby seal these two souls, binding them as one for eternity. Look upon one another and say the words, I am hers, she is mine. Okay, you got this bit.
I am hers, she is mine, from this day until the end of my days.
And I am his, and he is mine, from this day until the end of my days.
And now present Mr. and Mrs. Skip and Shannon Sharp. You may now seal your love with a kiss. Wow. Well, there's a plus for everything.
Okay, we're going to take a break for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to be moving over into the terrace room. We're going to line you up in here for autographs with Jane, but we're going to give her a couple minutes to rest up, okay?
I must say the Great Wait was not my forte, but I learned a lot about autographs and meeting film stars versus reality TV people. And Jane was very intent on only one autograph per person and no discussion. time for the happy birthday dinner. It was so lovely to have live music set right beside the beautiful ensemble that they had there that evening. And then David and I decided to take a quick sneak peek into a back ballroom with pineapple chandeliers and Italian marble floors. It was so luxurious. I love these. I think they're so beautiful. And this is so like Greek, Roman architecture. It's just beautiful. So for dinner tonight, this is the starter. It is veal, and David is having short rib. David, this is the best birthday I've ever had, so thank you for bringing me to Mackinac Island.
It's fun.
And not even knowing that JaneSeymour was going to be
I
here.
know.
So it's
Really
been a
good.
lot of fun. Thank you so much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does this Elsie McKenna puppet doll just make you freak out? Does it look scary to you? Let me know. Our taxi has arrived now at the ferry dock, and it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining me on this Rebel podcast for Somewhere in Time weekend. And remember, every man dies, not every man lives. Be the one who lives and enjoys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe now.